Hi, I'm Jane McDonagh. I'm a partner in Simons Muirhead Burton and a family mediator. This is Lara.
Hi, I'm Lara Wulwik. I'm also a partner in the family team at Simons Muirhead Burton and also a qualified mediator.
We're here today to talk to you a little bit about family mediation. More and more people are wanting to know about mediation, aren't they, and the benefits.
Absolutely.
But I think there's still quite a lot of
misconceptions around
misconceptions, questions that are unanswered around it.
So mediation essentially is an alternative method in which to resolve disputes that people may have with the use of a mediator who should be an independent, non-biased third party who sits in the room with the parties and tries to help them discuss difficult issues and facilitate those discussions by providing them with information about the law surrounding the areas they're discussing, but not advising either party, just helping them reach an agreement that they are happy with by communicating with each other direct.
Yeah, kind of keeping them on track, really.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
So should we discuss what the benefits of mediation are?
Yeah. Well, there are a few, aren't there? The first, most obvious one is costs. It's a lot cheaper than going to court.
Definitely.
And also, it just means that people feel a sense of ownership over the decision that they're making.
Yes, not imposed on them by the court.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just so much nicer, in a sense, that feeling of having come to that decision yourselves and really being part of the decision-making process.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if you're experiencing this at the moment, but getting a hearing date in court is taking many, many months, a lot longer than it used to. So the benefit of mediation is it's much quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. In the right circumstances, mediation is definitely the way to go. But obviously, it requires the right people and the right circumstances.
I would say, I don't know if you agree with this, but the right people for me would be people that can have open discussions still with each other, have the ability to still communicate with each other. It may not have to be on the friendliest of terms, but are able to have sensible discussions and without feeling any sort of pressure or vulnerability from the other person, because if a person is vulnerable or it feels that they are worried about what they may say in the mediation and then what happens outside of the mediation, then that's not going to be particularly right for them. I also think, obviously, that there's certain cases where it won't work at all, where there's been any issues of domestic violence or anything like that, and we wouldn't take on that sort of mediation in any event. But I would imagine about 80% of cases could be resolved by mediation. If it's suitable.
Yeah, and it's I suppose it's part of our job is to work out and advise people if it is suitable. So people can, if they're unsure about whether their situation is suitable for mediation, they can come and talk to us about it.
So my number one tip is often when I get an initial call from a client looking at mediating, I ask them if they've seen a lawyer yet, if they've taken advice. And if they haven't, that's what I would say to them before the mediation session. Go and see a lawyer, take some initial advice, have an understanding of the law, have an understanding of the remit in which you will be negotiating. So you know what your rights are, so you know what essentially you should be looking to get out of the mediation, and then come to the mediation prepared with knowledge. Yeah,
it's so much better if people know what their legal entitlement is before.
That's right, exactly. Because otherwise you can be arguing a point which actually is legally incorrect.
Yes.
And therefore you're not going to resolve matters if that's the case.
Yeah. Mediation is inevitably going to be challenging at times, but we have strategies for navigating that, those difficulties. We discuss with the clients how it's going to be before the sessions. Obviously, people have to be prepared emotionally for the times that are going to be challenging.
Yes.
And we have sort of ways of getting round impasses, I think. For instance, the classic way to approach an impasse is to park an issue and come back.
Take a break.
Take a break, exactly. Either for half an hour or maybe until the next session.
Yeah, absolutely.
And perhaps you even want to take legal advice before the next session to see if it's an important issue or not.
Yeah, and one they can get round.
Yeah, so sometimes people like to bring their lawyers into the mediation sessions themselves.
Yeah, good idea.
I think that works when there's an imbalance of power or financial, an imbalance of from one party knows financial position a lot more than the other one. It just creates more of a feeling of support, I guess, in those situations, and it can be very helpful, in the right cases.
Yeah, no, I actually have attended a mediation as the lawyer, and what I thought was very helpful was my client was getting stuck on a certain point, which actually in the large scheme of things wasn't that important and could be easily resolved in one certain way.
Yeah.
And I was able to suggest a break in the mediation. We went outside, we discussed the point, and she was then able to go back in with a resolution, and it moved the mediation on really nicely. So I think actually having a lawyer present can be help, not a hindrance, I'd hope anyway.
Yeah.
And help the mediation proceed and progress.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, absolutely. I hope we have helped and clarified a few points on family mediation today, but please let us know if we can help any further.